Nice shot, Colby hand. So that's that.
Me.
Sorry?
The camera loves me. Just keep wanting to come off the place.
YouTube, Big Pond. Now the main thing I want to start this was on my private one, as you can see on the first YouTube thing that I put up on this site, was that I was getting a lot of comments back about the Big Pond stuff that was happening, that I'd had issues with clients, and that's, I was hoping for Clint to be here, so we might even bring that up next week when he is here, because I want to, he's worked with Telstra lately, especially with Big Pond and business, and assures me that Big Pond do not have call centres outside of this country, and I'm not really absolutely sure of that, so he's going to give us some insight into what that is actually all about, and discuss maybe about some of the issues that I've had with them, and he can sort of either be pro or con for Big Pond. It's entirely his choice, but we'll go over that next week. Okay, mobile phones. When new mobile phone technology and everything comes up, Pete likes to have a look at what's going on, and so does Clint. Clint's very good at it too. And if there's new things to bring up, that's what will be brought up. At the moment, I'm using my new 6110. Oh, isn't it pretty? But it's got a Navman built in. I've only had this for the last 3 weeks. The buttons have changed around on me. I am a Nokia man. I have not been anything but on a Nokia phone for the last 8 years. I prefer to use them. I'm used to them, but this one's, the buttons have changed and it's taken me a bit to get used to. But the Navman part of it, I can't complain about. It does the job, and so it's a very handy little tool. So I'm happy with that. Pete, you've got your Ericsson that you've had nothing but trouble with since you got it. Look at it. You can see him looking at it with distaste.
Yes, it's a very good phone in general, but when it doesn't work, it doesn't work well. The phone features have never gone off though. The call function, the extra functions are giving me grief, like being able to charge it, and the connections are not well, and interactivity with the computer and the camera. So all the extra features are a pain in the ass.
Just a couple of problems.
Edit are a pain in the butt, and but the actual call features, it works very well, and at most of the time I actually get better reception here than Cole does. But that must be a network thing and not a phone thing.
Most probably, yes.
We'll go to Optus, our sponsor.
That I pay for. CPU speeds, will we bring that up? As we get I get the magazines, most of the magazines that you see, the APC and everything, PC User, all those kind of things, mostly every month. So we'll go through what they've brought up, but CPU speeds are just getting faster at the moment. I noticed that a quad core, one of the quad cores has gone up to 3.2 gigahertz, so that's getting faster and faster, of course. I don't know about the heat and everything, but the one thing I've noticed about all these new CPUs that are coming out, they run very, very cool now, which is all good. They run a lot cooler, should I say. They don't run cool, but they run a lot cooler than what they did.
Nice and quiet. I've been running quad for nearly 8 months.
Yep, and it's the next
Very
thing I'll
quiet.
be stepping up to as soon as I can. But yes, they do run quiet. They're not as good as what all these gamers want. Most gamers will want no fans and liquid cooled. I'm not big on liquid cooling. I don't think electronics and water or any kind of liquid go really well. But as we learn more along the way, the AMDs of course now with their quad cores, apparently from what I've been getting from my sources as I drive around, mainly from Steve from Gold Coast Computer Centre, hello Steve, is that they're just rubbish. They've had a lot of issues with the phenoms, I think they are called. Yeah, so we'll bring more up to date with that. Motherboards is another thing too we'll talk about as we're going along. Both Pete and I run off P35 chipset boards. We're not unhappy with them. Pete had an issue over the last couple of weeks with one of the cards that he had extended into his computer, our PCI card for USBs, and it was giving him blue screens.
Yep, loving that.
Gotta love the Windows blue screen.
Thanks to Bill Gates.
Thanks.
Not our sponsor.
Hard drives, again, terabytes now a thing. I'm still to get one. The biggest hard drives I've used being the one I'm using on my machine, one of them is a 400 gig. I've also got a 200 gig and 280 gigs. I was going to run the 280 gigs as RAID, but I never did, so at the moment I'm just running this off the 400 gig, but I'm still a bit dizzy about the terabyte of stuff, and you're holding a terabyte of information on a hard drive when I'd probably lash out and buy 2 500 gigs, and then if you lose one, at least you haven't lost everything all at once, because hard drives can crash very easily. But speed types and everything like that we'll talk about as we're going along. What's the new thing, everything.
And backups.
And backups. Back up. It's the biggest thing I can say to anyone is back up.
Love your photos, back up.
Love your photos, yes.
We've seen a lot of people lose their photos.
Yeah, photos, that's right. It's the
And
biggest
songs.
thing. And music. I mean, music you can get again, but you know, really, photos are it. If you lose family photos, they're gone on a hard drive. Gone, he's gone.
Thanks to Paddy Borton on the show, that's pompous. Oh,
Burn a DVD. DVD burners now are so cheap. If you haven't got one, get one. If you want one, call us. We're more than happy to come and install one for you and show you how to back up. If you're on the Gold Coast or in Logan, in Brisbane, in Queensland. But backing up your photos, you should definitely be doing it. And anything else that's crucial of data that you've got in there. Small businesses aren't backing up. You need your head read. It can just happen so easily that suddenly a hard drive will stop. We have recovery tools and everything here, but those are the cheap ones that we can help with. If the hard drive actually physically fails, there is only the next step, which can range between $1,500 and $3,500 to $4,000 just to recover the data from the platters that are on inside the disk, because it all has to be pulled apart in a clean room and everything. It's just not what you want to do if it's that crucial. So back up. Websites. Pete has been doing a website for us for Brymore. It's an estate out Tambourine Way, and I'm very impressed with what he's been doing lately. But he's going to talk every now and then about new things he's learning along the way with what's going on with websites and stuff. He's just starting to become as proficient as he can with Adobe Photoshop, thanks to the people at Adobe. Hope no one sees this from Adobe. But anyway, so we're looking at that. Clients lately, what they are expecting and what we are given. Well, we give our clients 100% satisfaction, guaranteed. But what they're expecting lately is pretty much the same thing. What we're getting a lot of calls over, as we usually always do, is crashing Windows systems, usually when files go missing and everything like that from their main system and we have to repair it. That's the main call lately. Just suddenly won't boot up. A lot of power supplies going again. Queensland's notorious for it. Power supplies I love because you just go in, put them in, and then they work again and the client's happy. So
better lose a power supply than your motherboard.
Absolutely. Or your hard drive with all your stuff on there that you haven't backed up.